And I'm delighted to be joined by Robbie Huxley, who's the CEO and Managing Director of TE PNG and has been since 2018. You picked a good time to become CEO given the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's right.
How's the business been travelling? And perhaps you could just start by just describing, it's quite a varied business. Just describe something about the kind of products and services that you provide.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me. Look, we've been in PNG since 1955. We started as an agency, and we used to operate out of the basement of a house in Baroko there. And geez, I think at one point we sold women's underwear and watches and things like that. And we've grown over the years. We've now got 2 retail showrooms. And when I took over the company in 2018, we sort of simplified it back a bit. One of the challenges we had was making all of our products and solutions, available to everybody. And some people would know us for dishwashers, other people would know us for radios. So we've now got 6 departments. We do communications and networks, hospitality equipment, ICT equipment, broadcast and PA, electrical and warehouse, and security services.
Mm-hmm. And as far as the market, how did that travel through the COVID period, if you like? And now that we're emerging out of that COVID period, how do you see the potential for the market to bounce back?
Yeah, look, it was definitely a bit of a shock, like everyone, I think, when COVID came in. We're quite lucky. We partner with a lot of large international vendors, and I guess where we helped our customers is we were on the ground. So, a lot of specialists couldn't travel into the country or offer their services. So we became their eyes and ears on the ground. We'd use our technicians and our staff to go out. We might not have had the necessary skills ourselves, but through the use of the internet and then video and things like that, we could still help these customers keep their businesses running.
One of the features of your sector is the need for significant number of skilled people, and I guess that's something that PNG does have a skills gap. What impact does that have on your sector, and what does your sector need to raise the level of skills in the country?
I'm very proud of our team. I invest heavily in our local training. Yep. So we've got about 120 staff at the moment, across a variety of trades. The local, skills that come through sometimes aren't up to the level. So we do weekly training. We invest in sending people away or bringing in trainers to do it. And, I think we've now got some world-class technicians in areas, guys that I'd work with anyway. The people in PNG that I work with, they love the opportunity. If you can give them the information, they want more and more. And I think, that's something that everybody needs to remember is we just got to bring the level of everybody up. I often lose technicians. They are, whether they're poached to the mines or to government agencies and things like that. But that's good for everybody overall. It then brings those other agencies and those organisations and their skills up. And we just got to continue to do that investment, and we'll get through it.
So how much of your training would be in-house, and how much are you relying on other institutions to provide that training?
Maybe 60-40, so it's about 60% in-house, down from I run sessions on Saturday, as does some of my other senior management, over just the local things that we do. And then we'll do qualified training, whether it's working with some of the organisations like Daytech or whatever to do ICT training. We do training across the security platforms through vendors. We're quite lucky our vendors, give us a lot of time and help to do that, to make sure our guys, are familiar with the products and the solutions that we offer.
Let's talk a little bit about the challenges of running a business in PNG. We were talking to the telcos. It was very illuminating, just some of the enormous challenges you have running a network that's across the country. But for a service provider such as yourself, apart from outside of the skills area, what are the key challenges that you need to address when you're running a business?
Look, I think like everybody, obviously security's always one of them. We travel to a lot of very remote locations at times. Making sure that we've got communications with the guys on the ground, making sure that they're safe, financial, Forex, like everyone in PNG is always a bit of a bugbear, but, we've got good relationships with our vendors to make sure we can, maybe extend our payment terms and things like that. And the education, it's constantly putting back in. You can't just sort of necessarily go out and find someone with the exact skill set you need on day one. You've got to invest in them for the long term.
A lot of companies in PNG had to become quite self-sufficient during the COVID period. You just couldn't fly people in and out when you needed them. How did you deal with that in your business?
Yeah, we tightened our belts a fair bit. We looked at the areas we were doing, you know, certain things weren't obviously going to benefit. So, our musical instruments and things like that, people weren't going out and spending money so much on those things. However, the Department of Health, you know, needs to ramp right up. Businesses, they all needed to work remotely. You know, there was a period there that, for love nor money, we couldn't buy any more laptops. The globe had just run out of them, and we were trying everything to be able to supply these things. So we just pivoted to where the people needed our products or our services, and that sort of kept us flowing through it.
Has it changed since the time you took over as CEO, the kind of things your corporate customers are coming to you asking for? Are you seeing a trend in that area?
Yeah, so I think the business used to be known around products. I've now really pushed that to, we're known for solutions.
Right.
So customers come to us, you know, you can go and buy a laptop from a shop, but they might need to know how to get it connected to other things. You know, they need to have the roaming on it. They need integrated back to their boardrooms. I do a lot in radios and things like that. So people will come to me and go, these are the challenges I'm facing. I've got my office here and my office there. How am I going to communicate with those guys? And we do a lot of sort of intricate jobs like that.
Just finally, to close, Robbie, there's a level of expectation in PNG's economy at the moment. We are on the cusp of what we hope will be the Papua LNG final investment decision next year. And we know from the experience of the PNG LNG project that, in the words of someone used yesterday, a rising tide floats all boats, that there should be a general boost to the economy. What sort of preparation or plans are you starting to think about putting in place to deal with what would be, I imagine, a period of significant growth over the next 10 years?
One of our key aspects is having stock on ground. And obviously globally there's a lot of logistical challenges at the moment. You know, we're seeing lead times, 9, 12, 18 months. So we're working with our vendors now to go, okay, what are the things we need to be planning for that growth? How are we going to facilitate the movement of, you know, equipment and stock into the country? Where are we going to locate it to be able to get it to these key areas as they need? So there's a fair bit that goes into that. It's obviously a fair bit of cash flow that gets tied up with it as well. So, you know, we're making sure that our day-to-day stuff is definitely turning over to support us in the interim. And again, you know, I always come back to the training. We're working with our technical guys to make sure we've got the accreditations. You know, we just achieved ISO 9001. We're investing a lot back into, say, satellite training, CCTV, things like this. These areas that are going to see growth, we need to make sure our technicians are trained and ready for this when it comes, so that we're not behind the 8 ball for the customer.
Robbie, you're one of a number of companies in PNG that people might be surprised to know have achieved ISO accreditation over the last 10 years. It's really one of those things now where people expect it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. You know, we're working with the guys, the Exxon Mobils, Total Energies, that, you know, to be a vendor with them, you need to have these systems and procedures in place. So we've put a lot of time and effort into doing that, and it's paying off so far.